Developing a cover for a novel can be a challenge, especially if it's your first. The development of the cover for my Civil War novel, Tennessee Yankee, was quite a journey. I've always wanted to write the stories that swirled around in my head, so during the 70s, I sat down with pen and paper and wore my hand out. Writing sporadically over several years, I eventually had a mediocre pile of blue-lined notebook paper with a working title of The First Snow. It found its way into a dresser drawer. I've always worked full-time and lots of overtime. Writing novels by hand took years, so I started writing short stories. Then I learned how to type. What a revelation! That was so much easier than pushing a pen across a piece of paper, and so much easier to read than my pathetic scribbling. My short stories won several literary contests, and 5 of them were eventually published in periodicals. I also won a few poetry awards. But years later, novels were still in my blood, so when I sold my business, I decided it was time to get serious. The First Snow was pulled out of the dresser and totally rewritten. It became Tennessee Yankee, a much more descriptive title. What was I going to do for a cover? I am not an artist. I can't even draw stick people. My cousin suggested Sabra Crockett, an artist friend of hers. I had an image in my head, so I explained it to Sabra. She is extraordinary. She captured it beautifully. At the time, I had no idea what I was doing. On the advice of an author friend, I selected Lulu, a company out of England, and the book was published. I loved the cover, but hated the book. Why? 2 things. My nicely polished final did not find its way to Lulu. Instead, a rough draft was printed. Worse, my original ending was atrocious. I'm not necessarily a happy ending person, but I don't like sad, depressing endings that make you regret reading the book. In the meantime, I discovered that while Lulu is great for the regional books that my friend Myra Singleton Johnson authors, Amazon is the best place for novels. So I decided to rewrite the book again. This time, I made absolutely positively sure the final polished version was used. I still loved the image Sabra had painted and was determined to use it, but the cover needed to look different from that original disaster of a book. Sabra had moved away and was not readily available. I was introduced to Mutz Suttles, a local artist and another major talent. He used Sabra's image and put Union and Confederate flags behind it to make it different. The Lulu version was removed, and the final version of Tennessee Yankee was born.